Hi there, it's just Paulie here on a cold winter's day. Yeah, so as I told you many years ago, I did the Shadowrun SNES game, and yeah, that left scars because it was a good team, incredibly problematic thing to do, and of course I and a couple of others we all got fired for doing the job right at the end. So, I had a bit of a thing for cyberpunk. It was like, yeah, a few PTSD scars there to work the demons out of my system. I did a funny comic book series. I used to write a lot of comics, and this one was called Cyber Kitties, and it's a piss take of cyberpunk. So it had fun laughing at all of the cyberpunk tropes. So the core of it was a team of cat girls living in unnamed rainy city somewhere in America's northwest, and there's the mighty programmer, the one who plugs into the Matrix Man, and she's the one that's like really into the whole cyberpunk kind of thing. She's always trying to stand on rooftops in the rain because it's got to drip down on her while she's wearing a long black coat while she goes through a mental monologue about how, yeah, the city is like, I watch the lights, the traffic moving like the electrons in the, dinner's ready, shut up, I'm monologuing. There's the street samurai who's completely crazy down living there, and she's just like she would just do things like she kept sea monkeys in a blender so they wouldn't get too cocky. So they're raising a shrine to her, worshipping her as their god, because she brings death, but she also brings fish food. Yeah, she would cook dinner for the others by mouse burgers. She's got a tub of live mice, pulling some out with tongs, hitting one of the meat mallet and frying it. And there's, of course, the mage, the wonderfully hippie-esque druidical one who's like, always in touch with her inner nature spirits. So I just had great fun with this. Their evil enemies, the Shiitake ninja, etc. Well, there's a science fiction con on in Melbourne, and William Gibson, the creator of, the cyberpunk genre, the guy who wrote the cyberpunk novel, he turns up as guest of honor. And a fan of mine is at this damn con. And he runs up to Gibson with an armload of these Cyber Kitties comics and just gives them, oh, you'll love these. Here, have these, and hands them to him. So he sits down in his hotel room the night before the con and just reads these things. And yeah, he seeks me out the next day. And Gibson was sort of an interesting guy who's like, he was at this stage was wearing like a long coat, kind of a bit of a hangdog expression, kind of like, hey man, how's it going, man? Yeah, okay. But I didn't even know who it was. Just a guy sits heavily down on a chair next to me and it's you, isn't it? What? Puts out the Cyber Kitties comics like, oh, you read those? I'm not sure you're really supposed to see those. Like, oh yeah, oh fine. This is what my life's come to. My whole career, my struggle as an author. Like, just so I could become comedic fodder for some asshole in Australia. So, well, yeah, that was bound to happen eventually. You should embrace it. Run towards it with open arms, mate. Just sort of like, yeah, I am comedy fodder. Well, actually, he said those were really funny. I read those. I had a really good time. I had a good laugh. But I just want to say you're a rat bastard. You've pissed all over my entire life's work for your own comedic effect, and may you burn in hell forever. Wait, can I use that as a cover quote? Yeah, sure, why not? So he just wrote down to pull a kid. You're an absolute rat bastard. My entire life has just evolved into being a comedic foil for some bastard in Australia. May you burn in hell forever. So yes, we've got to put that in the back of the comics. However, at this same convention, there was a wonderful guy called Danny Oz. Now, Danny's a very funny Australian fan, little tiny bouncy guy, and Danny's just fearless. You may or may not remember, but in years back, in early Doctor Who days, like John Pertwee, Katie Manning, one of the companions, she did all these nude poses with a Dalek. Look it up, you'll find them online. Yeah, Danny just decides, because he's like this little short, kind of little slightly tubby guy with a beard and everything, he just finds a Dalek, so he just strips down and he poses for exactly the same photo as stark bollock naked. So got this sort of little get a guy draped all over a Dalek in exactly her poses. I think just wearing the same go-go boots that she was wearing, and he just puts these out for everyone to enjoy. So he's he's fearless and funny. I admire him. But he turns up at this convention and just see Gibson's like often nipping out for a smoke and everything outside, and he was just kind of often hunched down and just kind of looking left and right nervously, and always shifting his weight from one foot to another, and like just had this real kind of way about him. And it turns out that he was kind of edgy in case there were a lot of sort of in American cons in particular, he's often accosted by a lot of kind of goths and cyber goths and cyberpunk fans who want to like tell him how they've now based their entire life on this, and they're attempting to have half of their brain torn out and replaced by a hand-operated calculation machine or whatever. So he's just a bit nervous of that. So Danny turns up dressed in the same style of clothes, and Gibson's like looking for a cigarette, and Danny's got his brand, just pass. Oh, here you go, man. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, how's it going, man? Oh, okay, man. And so he's talking in the same way Gibson talks to him, and they seem to really hit it off. Gibson's found his soulmate. It's like, yeah, man. There was a couple of crazy goths in there. I just had to avoid them. Oh, there were? Oh, my God, me too. That's what I'm doing out here, too. Oh, yeah. God, you haven't lived till you've had these people tell you all about, like, how they're trying to base their life on cyberpunk books. I know. They go on about this, and they don't see it was actually supposed to be a warning. I know, man. It was supposed to be a warning. Man, it was supposed to be a warning. And this just goes on for this whole 4-day convention. At the end of it, Gibson's giving his farewell speech. And he gets up on stage, hundreds of people there, and he's saying, he's had a great time in Australia, even though we did create the chicken twisty. There's kind of like a sort of, what would you call it? I don't know, a little cheese snack that comes in a bag, and some idiot made a version of it that's instead of cheese, it's dipped in chicken powder. It's unspeakable, but yeah, he's right. We're all going to hell for that one. So he just say, yeah, even though you make chicken twisties, is like, you're still great people. However, I want to bring to attention a very special person here in the convention community. Can we have some lights, please? And he gets the lights, says, Danny Oz, where are you, you rat bastard? Where are you? I'm like, uh-oh. Danny stands up and the lights are all on. William Gibson pointing out to everyone, this little asshole decided that what he really wanted to do with his week was dress up as me, speak like me, and hang out with me, aping me all weekend, thinking I wouldn't notice. It's like, you got balls of steel, man. And so William Gibson gave him a crew jacket from Johnny Mnemonic. Just here you go. Just now go away and stop bothering people. So, Danny is a brilliant humorist, a very funny guy, and if you ever get to come to an Australian kind of mainstream science fiction convention, if you see Danny's involved in the program, whatever he's running, go to it, because he's a really funny bastard. Anyway, memories of Danny, many memories of Gibson. Anyway, cheers.